It's now time for Party Chat Sports.
The only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
What's up, Party Chat Sports? Welcome back to the channel. Gill, Drew Nelson. The other two are not with us, but that's okay. That's okay. We have a huge matchup this Sunday as we wrap up the NFL season. Super Bowl 60 between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. And if you're looking at me and you're wondering, Gill, why the hell are you wearing a Jets jersey? It's a Super Bowl and the Jets are nowhere close to being in the Super Bowl. Well, because I got one thing for you. Gotta represent my boy. I gotta represent essentially my Anakin Skywalker. He was a chosen one for us, and now he's about to go take down the dark side. It's
You drafted Sam Darnold, hoping that he would someday take down the Patriots and put an end to their dynasty. And you were right. Just not in the way you thought.
Nope. It didn't work out the way I intended. And it was always meant to be Sam. We've got some things to talk about, though. Regarding Sam, he'll definitely come up in the conversation here tonight, as he's going to be playing in this game for the Seattle Seahawks. And who would have thought at the beginning of the season, like who had the Seahawks versus the Patriots as their Super Bowl matchup heading into this year?
Probably not many. I think it's when you look at like all of I'll take that back. When you look at all of sports, as far as most unlikely matchups, it's up there as far as odds at the start of the season. It's not the most unlikely, but it is definitely. I don't know about just football. At least in recent history, it's probably one of the most unlikely.
I'm trying to think. Maybe the Mavs making it to the finals a couple years ago.
There's some. They talked about this on the radio here actually, and I forget exactly the examples that they found with higher odds or whatever, or lower odds either way. And most of them were baseball. There's quite a few baseball ones in there. And then I'm not sure if there were any basketball ones, but I mean, just like maybe I would be curious what Rams Bengals was a few years ago when that happened, because you had a first-year Rams team, first year with Stafford, and then Joe Burrow coming off injury. And that was his second year, wasn't it?
I think it was.
It the third?
It was very early. It was very early in his career.
Either way,
it might have, because he got hurt his first year. His rookie season ended due to injury.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it was the next year or the year after that they met in the Super Bowl.
But that one was probably pretty. But still, either way, I mean, you're looking at a Seahawks team. What do they have? 8-9 wins last year. Mm-hmm. A Patriots team that was like 4-13 for 2 years straight. And obviously they made some changes to get them to this point, but they didn't do anything that was like, oh, that's it. They're Super Bowl contenders, right? And obviously those changes did make them Super Bowl contenders because they're in the game. It
wasn't a singular thing that put them over.
Yeah, like when the Seahawks went and signed Sam Darnold, you weren't like, oh, that's the Super Bowl team. And when the Patriots, hired Mike Vrabel, I guess, you weren't like, oh, they're going to the Super Bowl. I mean, I think the Vrabel one was at least a more clear step in the right direction. It kind of seemed obvious he probably should have had the job last year too, but there was that weird stipulation in the contract.
With Gerard.
But anyways, we talked about it before, and that this year for the playoffs, it was fun seeing a lot of new teams and things like that being involved, because you didn't have the Chiefs, and the Ravens weren't in there, and Josh Allen gets knocked out like always, but the Cowboys missed, and a bunch of teams that are normally in there didn't
and even
make
on
it.
the NFC side, like
Lions,
49ers,
weren't there.
49ers, Eagles, like the teams that have been the NFC representative in the Super Bowl the last couple of years, they made the playoffs, but they weren't nearly as good. Like the field was completely open, it felt like.
But with that, it's funny because we end up with there's a lot of possibility for new Super Bowl matchups, and we get one that we had at least in recent. It's been a little while now, but
2013, 2014?
I can't even remember. Probably.
I want to say, Russell Wilson was drafted 2012. He won his Super Bowl the second year, 2013, against the Broncos. That was the big Broncos year. And then 2014 was the Patriots Seahawks, because it was the following year.
So it's not that recent. It feels more recent than 12 years ago.
But 10 years, 12, oh my God, 12. Wow. Well, 11, 12. It was like 2014 season.
Yeah.
So 11.
I mean, the Super Bowl would have been in 15, but either way, it's still it's a matchup. I guess it's been over a decade since we've seen this matchup, but still, it feels it was a memorable one. So it feels closer, but still, like I mentioned in our last podcast, this Seahawks team is the first team to. Well, maybe I should word it differently, but I always mix up the Seahawks and Niners GM name. Is it John Lynch for the Seahawks, or is it John Lynch for the Niners?
John Lynch is the 49ers. John Schneider is the Seahawks.
John Schneider for the Seahawks. He's the first GM to completely rebuild a team and make the Super Bowl again. So brand new 53-man roster from the last time they were there. Brand new head coach, first GM to ever do it. So kind of a cool, even though that was 11 years ago, which it's so crazy to just say out loud. Like,
I know,
as we said, that was 12 years ago. It was like
Russell Wilson was a rookie,
but
12, 13. Andrew Luck, man, my boy, was a rookie.
So even though the Seahawks, it hasn't been forever since we saw them in there, it is, it's basically a brand new team coming into. It's not like these things where we see maybe Mahomes doesn't make it every year, but it's still they miss a year and then make it the next year. It's still kind of the same team. It's still Mahomes. It's still, and with the Patriots, they didn't make it. I mean, they made it just about every year, but when they didn't make it, they come back the next year. It's still Tom Brady and the Patriots. So this iteration of the Seahawks and this iteration of the Patriots, for a large part, is a completely new team from what we saw previously, which is pretty cool.
I'm trying to think of how many of those current Patriots players might have been there the last time they were.
When was the last time they won a Super Bowl in New England?
Was that
2019?
As of
2018?
Late January 2026, 3 to 5 players on the current New England Patriots roster who have won a Super Bowl ring during their careers. Carlton Davis, Milton Williams, but they were both on other teams.
Yeah.
They both won with the Buccaneers and just Chiefs.
Milton Williams was an Eagle, wasn't he?
Yes. Why did I say Chief? Yeah, he was a Eagle last year. Mac Hollins? No. What? Yeah, maybe a special teamer.
I don't think there's any big names that would have. It's been a while since the Patriots. I don't think there's obviously players on the team that have won Super Bowls, but I don't think there was a Patriot that won as a Patriot that's still on the team.
Let's see. It was against the Rams. It was Super Bowl 53, 2018 season, 2019 year. So who was on the Patriots 2018 roster? Are any of their offensive linemen? Where's their final roster? David Andrews is no longer. He's retired. Trent Brown, Marcus Cannon, I think, is retired.
I mean,
Joe
even
Thuney is not there.
thinking about that, it's been 6 or 7 years since.
Yeah.
That's a long time, even for offensive, defensive linemen.
Matthew Slater isn't even on the team anymore. Yeah, was kind of like the Eagles, except the Eagles, even when they turned the entire roster over and made it back to the Super Bowl, they had Brandon Graham at least. Dan Skipper is a Lion. He was on the Patriots. Yeah. Also, the most unlikely Super Bowl matchups of all time. So Google had big 2025-26 Super Bowl matchup is considered the most unlikely in at least 50 years as both teams enter the season with over 61 odds to win it all. Other highly improbable matchups include underdog-heavy pairings such as the 49ers-Bengals Super Bowl in 82, Patriots-Rams in 2002, and that was Kurt Warner coming out of nowhere. That was Tom Brady stepping in for Bledsoe. Ravens Giants 0-1. That makes sense. And then Giants Patriots 0-8. The Patriots were expected to be there, but the Giants were not at 9-7.
Yeah, they were what were they, the 6th seed?
Yeah, I think they barely.
There was six teams at the time.
Yep.
I'm surprised the Bengals Rams wasn't mentioned. Maybe it's revisionist history, but it seems like it was unlikely.
Well, I think with the Rams, they went and traded for Stafford because that's what they needed to get to the Super Bowl. That's what they envisioned was we had Goff, we made it to the Super Bowl with Goff, but now we're going after Stafford because Goff is holding us back from making it back. And I don't remember what the thoughts were about the Bengals heading into that year, but I think with the Rams, at least, that was the intent with getting Stafford.
Yeah. I'm just curious how that would, what the odds would have been like. Obviously you expect that to be better for the Rams, but with Joe Burrow coming off injury, I think they had just drafted Jamar Chase. It was either the same year they drafted Jamar Chase or the first year after. But still, I'm surprised. But anyways, I mean the Super Bowl should be fun. Either way, I think for me personally, for whatever reason, I think it's because I made a bet on the Seahawks, not an actual bet, but betting on the Seahawks defense and fantasy in all of my leagues, and they carried me pretty hard. Gave me a little bit of go Seahawks because a little bit of ties there, I suppose. But DeMarcus Lawrence too, he said, "I'm going to go win a Super Bowl on the Seahawks. Can't win it with the Cowboys." And I was like, "I hate you for saying that." And then
that's a crazy thing to say.
He did exactly that. So
he's about to do exactly that.
Respect, I guess. He called his shot and it hit. So I don't know. For whatever reason, I'm not exactly a Patriots hater like you. Not that I've enjoyed the Patriots dynasty, I don't think many people outside of New England can say they enjoyed watching them make it every single year or every other year and winning, most of them. But I do think it's cool. I like Vrabel. I like Drake May for the most part. It is cool
They have
for
more
a
likable people running that team now than they had before.
For now, yeah, they're not the evil empire anymore.
Yeah, but Belichick was always kind of a dick. And then Brady, like, he had of course, everybody knows the story, but then just got sick of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was probably cool for the Patriots, like, when Tom Brady came in for Bledsoe and won it, and maybe even, a time or two after that. But then after a while, it's like, all right, we're done.
We've had enough.
It's the same kind of thing that we're seeing with Mahomes. Like, Mahomes didn't make it, and everyone's like, this playoffs is the best ever. Which it was. I mean, all the games were really good.
Very fun. It was very fun.
So,
like, I saw people saying, like, oh, you're definitely missing Mahomes in this year's playoffs. No.
Not really. Yeah.
I'm sure there would have been some cool moments from Mahomes just because he delivers or has delivered, but I didn't look at this year's playoffs and think it needed Patrick Mahomes. Like, it had a good infusion of young, up-and-coming talent.
Pretty much, just about every game, there was a couple snooze fest, but for the most part, the playoffs are really exciting this year. And with that being said, like I mentioned earlier, like, yes, this is a matchup that we've had before, and not so recent history is, we talked about the illusion of time, I suppose, but even though it is a matchup we've had before, it was still a super exciting path for the most part for both of these teams to get here. Obviously, there's some questions about the Patriots' path, but the Seahawks have, I think, this Seahawks season will be, I don't want to say it'll be studied. No one's going to study the season, but it is cool to see, hey, let's go out and sign this quarterback. He just had a good season. He completely failed when the lights got bright in Minnesota. But we think we can still, use him and he can still win games for us. And I think for Sam Darnold too, like, he's figuring out what he needs to do to win these games. And sometimes it's funny because, like, a lot of people will say, like, Darnold just get out of the way and the Seahawks will win. Like, just don't mess up because the defense is so good. But against the Rams, like, Sam Darnold was making plays. That's why they won. It wasn't because, like, he just got out of the way and handed the ball off or checked it down or whatever. Like, he was making plays. They were going toe-to-toe with the Rams. And what a cool thing to see. And, it probably hurts you a little bit. It hurts Cam too. But what a cool thing to see a guy who, journeyman kind of bust, if you will. And then all of a sudden, now he's the quarterback in the Super Bowl. And he's having a good season. He's not just like a guy that's being carried into the Super Bowl, right? So obviously there was a couple games, like the previous two games against the Rams, he had 4 interceptions in their first game. He had 2 interceptions in their second game. So, like, and the defense for the Seahawks is really good. So yes, he has a good roster. He has, a good team that helps him win games, but he didn't get carried to the Super Bowl. He made plays. They would have, if Sam Darnold had one of those games again against the Rams, they probably lose. But he made the plays that needed to be made, and they won the game, and now they're obviously in the Super Bowl. So super cool story, super cool thing to see. All the Super Bowls are about what's the storyline for this Super Bowl. It's it's been Mahomes chasing Brady. It's been Brady continuing his legacy in the past. There's not many Super Bowls without those two, but going back, Stafford getting his first, like there's always one story that kind of dominates the Super Bowl, and I think there's some good ones on both sides, but the Sam Darnold thing is probably the best one.
The Seahawks thing is definitely interesting. Like going back, like you mentioned, they'll be studied, and I mean that's what teams do. It's a rinse and repeat league where you try or it's copycat league more than anything.
Yeah.
So can you? That's part of the reasons why the Ravens hired Jesse Minter. Like, oh, can he be a McDonald type? And the Seahawks did two. They had two noteworthy changes that changed their entire season. First, firing Ryan Grubbs and replacing him with Clint Kubiak. And then second, choosing Sam Darnold over Geno Smith. Like, you mentioned about people saying, like, oh, well, was Sam carried to the Super Bowl? If Geno was a starting quarterback for the Seahawks are not in this position. They're not the number 1 seed. They're not in that spot to beat the Rams and make it to the Super Bowl. Like, Sam has done what he's needed to do and then some. He's always had the talent. Talent with him has never been an issue. It's always been above, like head, shoulder, above the shoulders has always been the issue. And especially the seeing ghosts thing has just amplified it to the umpteenth degree. And it's a shame that Peyton Manning talked Woody Johnson into hiring Adam Gase because that completely derailed his career. And I know I'll go back to the Jetsing a couple times, but like Sam Darnold was our guy. He was drafted number 3 overall. You look at him his rookie year, he finished strong. Like there was so much promise. I remember watching him go toe to toe with Aaron Rodgers as a rookie. And this wasn't bum Aaron Rodgers. Like Rodgers won 2-3 more MVPs from that season on. Watch him go to toe, spalled out, and then they bring in Adam. If they hired Todd Monken instead that year, we're talking different story possibly. So there's a lot of what is. I'm not butthurt. I'm very happy for Sam because he's gone about it the right way. Now, if he was bashing the Jets every chance he got, it'd be a little bit different. But every time he's given a platform and like someone's trying to like shit on the Jets. He takes a high road every single time. He does that with the Jets, the Panthers, because he failed in Carolina too. So I'm excited for Sam. And Sam is obviously getting a lot of the headlines. The defense is getting a lot of the headlines as well. Like if you're putting like a headline pie together for the Seahawks, Sam is probably getting 40, 45. The default defense for the Seahawks are getting the other 45. The other small percentage isn't really getting talked about. And to me, that's the weapons for the Seahawks. Jackson Smith and Jigba, that run game, we talked about it last week. They run the ball. They're top 5 in the league in terms of rush attempts. So Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, they have the tools to win this game. And it's not just the storylines. It's not just can the Seahawks defense do it. The Seahawks offense has the tools to beat this Patriots team. And that's going to be very fun to watch.
No, it's fun. And on the other side of the contest, there are 2 teams in this game.
No.
Believe it or not. And I think we're getting a little too close to erasing Drake May's season just because of the playoffs. So let's taking a step back, like we'll talk about the playoff run in a second and we get into the schedule and whatever. This is still a second-year quarterback, brand new head coach, coming off of 4, back-to-back. Well, the team's coming off back-to-back 4-win seasons. Young offensive line, young team, relatively young team. I don't know what their average age is or anything like that, but he had a great season, right? He's an MVP candidate for a reason. And obviously, like I already mentioned the schedule. Yes, the schedule was pretty easy, comparatively, but you don't get to pick your own schedule. You got to play the games that are in front of you, and they've won most of them. So obviously,
they were number
2
hasn't been performing.
He hasn't been performing very well in the playoffs up to this point. But they're still winning games, which shows you that the team is still good. Their defense probably isn't as good as the Seahawks, but it's still solid. The offense shows flashes of being explosive at times. I mean, Travion Henderson can be explosive. Even like Booty and Diggs, like that one-handed grab against who was it? So when they played the Texans,
yeah,
like
it was in New England.
That's a crazy play. So they have flashes, and again, Drake May for the whole season showed, he is an MVP candidate, and obviously this will probably be his toughest test. As far as this is the most complete team. Obviously, they played the Texans, whose defense is just as good as the Seahawks or better. But the offense on the other side of the ball as well. Obviously, CJ had some issues, but this Seahawks team will be able to, they're a more balanced team, I should say. It's not just the defense. It's Sam Darnold is leading a good offense, and they have one of the best defenses in the league. So it'll be a tough test for the Patriots, but I just want to make sure that it's clear because recency bias. So the last 3 games of the Patriots, or 2 games, I guess. No, they had 3 because they're
Chargers, Texans. Everybody forgets the Chargers game. It feels like,
but exactly, because it was a forgettable game because Herbert got demolished. But anyways, I just want to make sure that the season for Drake May isn't lost. Like, I know it pains you to see it, but it was a good season, and he could still technically win MVP. It's
a regular season award. I think those. I mean, he wasn't our MVP here, but
no. If
you want to know who our MVP was, go watch last week's episode. But there's a reason he's in contention. There's a reason him and Stafford 1 and 2 for MVP.
Still
he had a really good regular season.
Oh yeah, still a really good. Cool story for him. We talked about Sam Darnold, but on the flip side, obviously, it's taken Sam Darnold a lot longer to get to where he's at, but still cool to see a second-year guy be able to make it to the Super Bowl. And this is the kind of experience that we'll see what happens. Obviously, the curse was broken technically last year with the Eagles winning the Super Bowl after.
That curse was broken, but at what cost? Because the Eagles are completely falling apart.
Well, that one was fake because nothing said there was nothing in there about running backs playing quarterback and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, it's still good experience to have being in the playoffs, knowing how to win in the playoffs, and they haven't suffered a loss yet. But either way, it's all good experience for them. And with partnered with Vrabel, I wouldn't be surprised if they, are at least routine playoff contenders. You know what I mean?
Not just Vrabel. The underrated part of the whole, Vrabel May thing, especially, for the longevity, is Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels, there's a very, very small chance he gets another crack at a head coaching job. He's one of the best offensive minds in the NFL, but he's had 2 bottom-out failures as a head coach. Nobody's really going to want to touch that. So you have, and he's not old. He's not an old head. He could be Drake May's offensive coordinator his entire career. That's an unfair element. Because especially when you have a defensive-minded head coach, the fear is what the Seahawks are going through. With Clint Kubiak, he's probably going to be, it seems more than likely, he's going to be the Raiders' next head coach. So they're going to be having to look for another offensive coordinator. The Patriots should, in theory, be in that same spot, but because they brought in Josh McDaniels, who has failed as a head coach, will never get touched in that role again, he could very well be the offensive coordinator in New England for a very, very long time. And that's a huge, that's just huge for Drake May. And
that's a good point.
It's unfair.
Yeah, it's similar to the Chiefs with Reed and what's his face on their DC.
Spags.
Yeah, no one. he's been a great defense coordinator in the last, however many years with the Chiefs, but no one wants to give him another job.
No.
Because I forget what his record was as a head coach.
It was
but it's
bad.
not great.
It was
so he's pretty much untouchable as
that's like a perfect thing, man. Like if you're a head coach, if you're a first-time head coach, you want like one of those really good coordinators who failed as a head coach so that they never, like a Jim Schwartz. Now, granted, he almost got the Cleveland job.
If Saleh flames out in Tennessee, he's going to be one of those defensive coordinators you need to go snag.
He'll be Kyle Shanahan's. He'll be Kyle Shanahan's defensive coordinator again in no time. Don't you worry.
And if Shanahan doesn't want him, anyone else on the Shanahan tree will take him, and he'll just sit there as DC forever.
Maybe he joins his buddy McVay in Arizona.
Maybe, other than he fired him, but
well, yes and no. So Woody needed somebody's head because the Jets started 7-4 that year and missed the playoffs, only winning 7 total games. And the Jets were not going to get Aaron Rodgers with Mike LaFleur as an OC. And somebody had to answer for that. So Saleh had to let go of somebody. And Saleh is very, very close with the LaFleur family. Him and Matt were shoveling snow at Brian Kelly's party when they were interns at Central Michigan. They have no respect for Brian Kelly. He was in LaFleur.
Not many people do anymore.
No. Have you ever seen the story on that?
Yeah.
They thought that they were like invited as like guests.
Yeah.
It's like nope. No, they were like valets.
Go be valet and shovel the driveway or whatever. Shovel the sidewalk.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Saleh was the best man and LaFleur was the best man or just in the wedding for Matt LaFleur. Like they're close. I could definitely see them reuniting at some point. Spag's record, by the way, was 11-41.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, not at all.
So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That is an underrated part of the Patriots' success
and future success.
I mean, I was surprised. Like when he first got fired by Tennessee, I think it was obvious that he was going to get another job, and it always felt like he was going to be the successor to Bill. But obviously there was the year gap that had to happen. But Vrabel's been, I mean, he took Ryan Tannehill to the AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he had Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown. But still,
he's been that dude.
It's Ryan Tannehill. It wasn't exactly, he had some good flashes there with Vrabel, but he wasn't exactly the best quarterback in the league by any means. So
I think they were the number 1 seed at one point.
They were the 1 seed that year. I think that year with the AFC Championship, they were the 1 seed. But yeah, just a good coach.
That year, because the AFC Championship game, it was against the Chiefs. And remember, the Chiefs Mahomes hadn't played on a road playoff game until the Ravens, like 2 years ago. So I think they were the 1 seed 1 year, and then in a different year, they made it to the AFC Championship game with the Titans. Because if they were the 1 seed, the Chiefs would have been on the road in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs, I'm pretty sure that was a thing with them, was Mahomes had never played a road playoff game until the AFC title game against the Ravens.
Yeah, that makes sense. Would that have been like right before the Chiefs started?
I think the first Mahomes' first year as a starter, they lost to the Patriots. Because that was supposed to be Chiefs versus Rams Part 2.
But it was in
Arrowhead.
Kansas City. Yeah.
And Frank Clark lined up offsides.
Was it snowing?
I don't think it was. It might have been. I just remember Frank Clark was
it was Frank Clark
offsides.
Offsides, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, but that probably would have been what 20? Is
That
that
was
2018 or
2018.
2019?
Because Mahomes was drafted 2017, so 2018 was his first year starting.
Yeah, but the Titans might have been. They might have been the one seed back in like 17 or 16. It's just been a while.
20, so the 2019 season was the AFC Championship game between the Chiefs and the Titans. So the 2020. And then that was Mahomes' first Super Bowl.
Gotcha.
Titans number 1 seed season. 2021 season. What they were the 1 seed. They went 12-5.
In 2021.
They also had a league high 91 players
Was that
had injured.
Was that Bengals then, or who was that? I went to the Super Bowl that year.
Was that Bengals? Or was that 2021? Let's just see how their season ended. They lost to the Bengals, who made it to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, Vrabel's a good coach.
Very.
So,
And he's willing to cut off his dick and still leave his wife 6 inches.
he's also a very funny guy. I like Vrabel a lot.
I like
funny.
him when he's on Bussin' with the boys. Like
Yeah.
he's
Which
very
is funny
open.
because like it to me, like obviously I don't know their situation, but it feels like Taylor Lewan would have been like a guy that he'd always be like screaming at in practice or something, because he's
And he
one of those
probably
guys that
was.
just
Maybe-
like feels too cool or is like too good for, and he's cocky and stuff like that,
Mhm.
which seems like the kind of guy that Vrabel would like always be screaming at. But at least now that they're not like playing for him, their kind of relationship is pretty cool.
Well,
And he seems
weren't
like
they getting him on the pod, or was that after Lawan retired? Was he doing the pod when he was still playing?
I don't think so. I don't think players podcasting while they're still playing, wasn't quite as popular yet.
That's true. Well, Will Compton, though, his thing was like 11th year. Like he was still trying to play.
He was still trying to play, but I think Taylor was done.
Yeah.
Or maybe it overlapped a little bit, but like towards the end of his
Or
career,
maybe that
he
was
wasn't
when
really,
he was hurt. Because didn't he have
it could
like
be. Towards the end of his career, he got hurt, and then
a
he
lot?
wasn't very good. So maybe he did both, but
But yeah,
either way, Vrabel's it's cool to see, like, because Vrabel on the sidelines, he just looks like an old meathead, tough guy, whatever. But he's pretty funny,
mm-hmm.
and his voice is kind of funny. I always thought his voice doesn't match like
It doesn't.
his looks. It's pretty like nasally and
You expect a
high-pitched
little bit more like grunt, like.
Yeah, but he's pretty funny. I like Vrabel.
I was when the Patriots. So the series of events or the timeline, the Jets interview Vrabel. I'm like, I would like this. Maybe not going to happen. Let's see what happens in New England. And then, like 2 or 3 days later, the Patriots fire Gerard Mayo. And the second they fired Mayo, it's like, all right. I didn't know we were allowed to fire coaches after 1 year.
Believe it or not, you can.
But anyways, this is going to be a really fun matchup between these two. What's the line right now? Because I know the Seahawks are definitely favored. And
Last time I saw, they were favored by 4.5.
And has it been 4.5? Because I
That
think
was a couple days ago.
Come on, FanDuel. Don't make me. Where you at? Where you at? Super Bowl 4.5 still. 4.5, and it's gonna be a fun game. I hope everybody, either now or maybe after the Super Bowl, you have the conversation with your significant other about next year's Super Bowl. Hey, look, Super Bowl's on Valentine's Day this year, honey. I don't know what to tell you. I don't control the schedule, but make those plans, figure that out in advance. Just want to give all you fellas a heads up.
You can hit a brunch instead.
Yeah. You
Brunch
don't
works.
have to go out for dinner.
No. It's overrated anyways.
It's a dumb Hallmark holiday. It's just an excuse to sell cards and flowers.
But yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about, how these two unlikely teams are here in this matchup. A lot of storylines going on. I think it'll still, honestly, I keep saying it'll be a good game. I don't know that it will be. I think the Seahawks.
I don't want it to be.
I think the Seahawks cover.
Do you?
Pretty easily.
And that's what everybody was saying. Like I think we've said it here. The winner of the NFC Championship game is the one that's going. That's the Super Bowl. That's the Super Bowl. The NFC title game.
Those two teams certainly look like the two best teams remaining.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, obviously, the Patriots have been finding ways to win all year, but the Seahawks their best game was their most recent game.
Yeah.
Probably all season. So they're hitting on all cylinders at the right time.
And think
whereas
the game
Patriots
before that, they steamrolled the 49ers. And the game before that, they steamrolled the 49ers.
Yep. Kind of.
Yeah. So should be
they're hitting on all cylinders.
The last thing before, because I feel like we're nearing a wrap here. All right. So I was listening to ESPN radio, as I do just about every morning. And they were comparing the 2018 and 2024 NFL QB classes, which right now are pretty good classes. You have Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, but I think he's selling finance or something. Josh Allen, Lamar. 2024, Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy. Michael Penix. Sorry, I forgot Michael Penix. Really good classes. At the end of the day, which class is going to be better? So say hypothetically speaking, not that I want this to happen, but if Drake May wins the Super Bowl, is there going to be a shot for the 2024 class to match the 2018 class?
Sam Darnold's the only one that's made it to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but
I mean, it depends on how you evaluate these things, right? If you want to do a QB wins type deal, then you'll be like, Sam Darnold made the Super Bowl, Drake May made the Super Bowl, and then it comes down to which one of them actually wins it. And then for, in reality, Lamar's a two-time MVP. Is it 2 or 3? Either way.
Should be 3.
Josh
Allen. No, he should still be 2.
Josh Allen, one-time MVP, but, if I was taking a quarterback out of all of those, I would probably pick Allen. So it depends on how you look at it. Obviously, the 2024 class is still super young. We saw Drake May, obviously he's in the Super Bowl. He had a great year. Caleb Williams had, a pretty good year. Jaden Daniels was great as a rookie, but, had a step back with some injuries, and, just the team overall was very good. So there's still a lot to see. And even in the Sam Darnold class with Sam Darnold himself and Baker Mayfield, it took Baker Mayfield however many years until he got his second chance in Tampa after being, passed up on by the Browns and the Panthers as well. So same with Sam Darnold. So there might be, someone in the 2024 class, maybe it ends up being JJ, or maybe it ends up being who knows. But
I don't think it'll be Bo. I think it'd be JJ or Penix, because I think Bo is going to be like a stable quarterback there for the Broncos. I don't know if he'll ever get them to the Super Bowl. I don't know if he's that guy, but I think he'll be all right. Jaden Daniels, I have a lot of question marks. He's getting a new OC. We saw the concerns that everybody had heading into his, when he got drafted. They shined. They came to light last year. He got hurt. Drake May, he's going to have a good career. I think Caleb Williams is trending in the right direction and towards stardom. So Penix, he just doesn't have an ACL.
He doesn't have an ACL in either one of his legs.
That's a singular ACL, not one.
Yeah, could be an issue, but yeah, I think right now, obviously, like
right now, yeah.
If you don't like what I mentioned, like if you don't take in the QB wins thing, right?
Like in a vacuum, which
the quarterback's not winning. It's not just the quarterback that determines wins and losses.
No.
But if I had to choose which one was better, I'm choosing 2018. But obviously,
I think when it's all said and done, 2018 is going to be the better class. But I mean, the way it's looking right now, there's still two pretty good classes. I would say, like those aren't bad. You have 3 MVPs, if Sam, and potentially 1 Super Bowl in the 2018 class, assuming Sam wins, and we'll see what the rest of their careers look like. And the 2024, there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of untapped potential there.
Yeah, and I mean, 2024 is kind of ahead of the curve. Most of the quarterbacks played right away, and were, relatively decent. Obviously, there was some rough patches for some of them. Some of them did better than others, but you look at Josh Allen, who was terrible for his first 2-3 years. Lamar, who didn't start right away, and then obviously Sam Darnold was pretty decent on the Jets that first year.
He had his rookie moments, and then his stock trended positively his final 4 games.
And same with Baker. Like Baker was probably the best right away. He was unfortunately on the Browns, but they did get to the playoffs and won a game, and there was some decent moments there with Baker, but there's still a lot of time for this 2024 class to change the narrative, but that 2018 class looks pretty good.
It's kind of where I'm at. It was just an interesting thing that I heard. All right. What do you think the score is going to be?
I think the Seahawks are going to win 38 to 17.
Oh, 38 to 17.
38 to 17.
I'm thinking like 27-14. 27-17. That's what I'm thinking. 27-17.
Okay. I can see that.
That's fine. Dylan did pick the Seahawks to win this as well. I don't know what Cam is thinking. I know he's a big May believer.
He's also probably a big Vrabel fan.
Yeah.
So
I could see that.
But I don't know.
I could see him picking the Patriots. Which honestly I get.
I could see him picking the Patriots. And that's it's fine. They could win.
My final question before we wrap. What do the Patriots have to do to win? Because we've talked a lot about the Seahawks and how good they are and how talented their defense is. And Sam, what do the Patriots have to do to win?
I think there's obviously, it's probably going to sound obvious, but there's 2 answers, right? It's Sam Darnold, or not Sam Darnold. Drake May has to find what he was doing in the regular season. Take care of the ball, make some plays, put up some points. And the offense has been really slow and really stagnant in the playoff game so far. But on the other side of the ball, right, Sam Darnold has been playing really well, but he still has had those times where he gives the ball away more than he should.
He led quarterbacks in turnovers this season.
Exactly. So if they can, and part of what the Rams, did, and obviously it's a little bit different because they see him more often, but or at least we're able to see him more often. But if the Patriots can get a little exotic, make things harder to read, or you come out in a certain look and then change into something else. Like Sam has shown some weakness to that, and even with that weakness, they've still been overcoming it most of the time. But I think if you are the Patriots, you are obviously the underdog, literally the underdog. You have to find a way to make the Seahawks make mistakes. I don't think the Seahawks defense probably isn't going to make too many mistakes. So you need your MVP candidate quarterback to just be better. Make the plays that the Seahawks, because if you're clicking on all cylinders as an offense, the defense can still be playing good, but if you're clicking on offense, you're going to move the ball, you're going to score points. On the flip side of the ball, you need Sam Darnold to mess up a couple times. Even if he messes up once, that might not be enough. You're probably going to need 2 turnovers at least to stay in the game and then keep the ball on offense. So Drake May's really got to focus on not turning the ball over himself too.
You almost need Sam Darnold to have like Jalen Hurts his first Super Bowl type game, where he has a very ugly fumble and like he played well, but he also had a costly turnover there.
He had, yeah. So in that game, yeah, Hurts. A lot of people said Hurts played a great game, other than the fact that he gave the Chiefs a touchdown.
Yes.
So
he spotted them 6.
Yeah. So yes, the Patriots need to find a way to get the ball and ideally turn that into points.
And the points too. This entire playoffs, the teams that lost, for the most part, felt like teams that didn't take the points when they should have. Like, what? And I think both these coaches are pretty good at, like, knowing when to go for it. Like, they're better. And they're defensive coaches, so they're not going to be as aggressive with, like, going for it on 4th down. So I think, don't spot the other team points. Take them when you are able. For the Patriots, you have to keep it close heading into the 4th quarter. If you go into the 4th quarter and it's a tie game or you're right there, you're only maybe within 3 or so, you have a shot. If you're trailing by double digits heading into the 4th quarter, I think you're SOL. So keep it close. If you're the Patriots, keep it close heading into the 4th. Take your points when they come. And like you said, Drake May's got to play well, and the Patriots defense has to. Sam Darnold's going to have to see ghosts again if the Patriots are going to win.
And saying all that out loud seems obvious. Like
it does.
Just play better. But
score more points than the other team.
When it comes down to it, like the things that we said are things that we've seen. It's not like we're making stuff up. Like, hey, just magically get better at this. Just magically get better at that. It's Drake May, play like you did before. Defense, try to make Sam Darnold play like he's done before. Like, you get one chance, and you got to try. That's the key, especially when you are the underdog. You got to try and make those things happen. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. But I still like the Seahawks, so we'll see.
I really like the Seahawks, and for both these teams, if they lose, like Dan Campbell said, this might be their last shot. Might be their last crack at it.
A lot of people have been bringing that up, and that he couldn't have been more correct.
Right. Yep.
So we'll see what happens. But
all right. Well, the next time we talk to you guys will be after the Super Bowl. No Monday morning drive on Sunday or on Monday next week. We'll get together. Draft seasons are right around the corner for us, and that's going to be huge here at Party Chat Sports. So make sure you stay tuned to the feed. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, our YouTube Shorts as well. We post everything up on Twitter. We're anywhere and everywhere. All at Party Chat Sports. Until next time, go Hawks! Go Sam Darnold. Peace.
See ya.